And we are live. What's up, everybody? We're going to be here for the breakdown UFC Denver. We got a Korean Zombie versus Yair. And Kelton's on the show again. He'll always be on our show. And yeah, man. So last night we did a recap on Kelton's channel. Go check that out and make Kelton the fight game. You know, we're going to be doing recaps every card. We're probably going to be doing it on Sundays. But yeah, Kelton, welcome to Denver, man. And how do you like this card?
Yeah, so the UFC 230, you can find that on my channel. We did a lot of fantasy matchmaking for that video last night. We had a lot of fun, so go check that out. Those podcasts are really fun to do. As for this card, Denver, man, it took a lot of hits. Honestly, there was like 6 fights cancellations. There was one spot that happened to be like it would have been a really big bet for me, and I'm sad that it cashed. I don't know if I want to say it just in case they remake that matchup. I'll DM you it, Justin. But it's still a really, really good card, man. I've 4 plays, and I'm ready to go, man. This is a good card for betting. It's a good card for a fan perspective, and let's do it.
I know what you're talking about, but I won't say it on there. But yeah, man, call the first fight.
All right, so first fight of the night, we got Mark De La Rosa, now minus 245, taking on Joby Sanchez plus 205. Honestly, I think it should be a little bit wider for Mark De La Rosa. And first, I'll shout out that the Ray Borg fight got canceled. I had 3 units on Ray Borg at plus 120 there. And with that cancellation, man, I decided to put 3 units on Mark De La Rosa. I got him at minus 210. So 3 units there. Basically, I feel like he's pretty much better everywhere. Joby was outclassed by a much better grappler last time out, and I believe Mark De La Rosa is a very good grappler as well. I believe, black belt. And honestly, I think this might even be a tougher fight for Joby than his last one against Roberto, because Mark De La Rosa actually has hands, unlike Roberto Sanchez. Roberto Sanchez is kind of lost on the feet. So I don't know, man. I feel like this is a nightmare matchup for Joby Sanchez all day long. He's been around for a long time. This is his second UFC run. He's got a lot of flaws for sure. I've always had a soft spot for Joby Sanchez. I'm not sure why, just because he's a Jacksons guy. I've always liked the Jacksons camp, and I don't know. But he's probably going to get smoked here. It's probably saying a lot that I'm betting against Joby Sanchez because like I said, I have a soft spot for that guy for some reason. I like watching him fight. I like his style. As for his best path to victory, man, I don't know. He's not going to want to go to the mat with De La Rosa. He's completely outgunned there, so he really has to keep it on the feet and try to outstrike him. I doubt he outstrikes him. I actually think De La Rosa is probably the better striker, so I don't know. I don't want to say knockout or bust for Joby Sanchez, but that seems like probably his most likely path to victory is to get De La Rosa out of there on the feet. So I don't know. It just seems very unlikely to me. And minus 245 kind of seems like a gift to me, honestly. Like, this is Mark all day long, especially at 125. He's big at 125, man. So De La Rosa all day here. I got him by, I'll say, second round submission.
Yeah, man, I agree with you. I got Del Rosa. You know, wherever the fight goes, I think he's a better fighter. You know, he has 1 loss, and it's against Tim Elliott. And, you know, going against a top 10 guy like that who's fought for the belt in your debut, he actually had his moments in that fight. But, I mean, Tim Elliott's no slouch, man. And I think Del Rosa, you know, he's a good fighter, man. He's definitely going to win a lot of fights in the division. He could even be a top 15 guy. I like his striking. I like his ground game. I don't think Joby Sanchez is that good. I mean, the guy got tapped out in 2 minutes against Roberto Sanchez. Yeah, Sanchez has a decent ground game, but I don't think Sanchez is good, in my opinion. And Joby Sanchez, I'm talking about Roberto, by the way. But yeah, Joby, you know, he's a little chinny. He's been knocked out against Gene Herrera. That guy's kind of a jobber. He's not even, you know, doesn't fight anymore in the UFC. Joby has pretty decent striking, though. I mean, you know, he looked decent in the Contender Series. He got 2 wins on there. And, you know, I don't know, man. I don't think he's that good. I think he's at the bottom of the division. He's going to get cut probably. Just like the whole flyweight, not the whole flyweight, but we'll be talking about that in the recap on Sunday. But yeah, I got De La Rosa wherever the fight goes. Yeah, it's a pass for me. I'm not going to be playing it at the line, but yeah, I do think he's going to get the win. So next fight, we got another. You know, this is a close fight. Obviously, the first one's on a close one, but this is a close one. We got Joseph Morales versus Eric Shelton. And to be honest, man, I've been kind of going back and forth. It's definitely a fight that I'm not going to be playing. I think it's a huge pass in my opinion. You know, I think Morales might be the better striker. A lot of people, are writing him off because he lost to Davison. But Davison's going to be a beast. I mean, he already is a beast. But I meant he's going to be a beast at 135. I think he's going to be he could be a top 5 guy, man. I want to see him fight Lineker. That'd be sick. But anyways, back to the fight. Shelton's just, he's underperformed. He's dropped the ball so many times, but he fights close. And now he's fighting, and now he's finally an American top team. I think he was at some weird camp with I think Nate Corey or I don't know, some guy used to be in the UFC. I forget what his name is, someone. But yeah, he was at some small camp. Now he's at ATT. But I think Shelton's a better fighter here. I think Shelton on the feet, it's close. I got to give the edge to Joseph Morales, but I think Shelton is more well-rounded. I think he can get to the ground. He has pretty good wrestling. And, I mean, he had a really close fight at Pantoja. Could have gone either way. Close fight with Brooks. And, yeah, Alex Perez, man, the guy's good. I definitely wrote him off last fight when I bet Shorty. But, yeah, I actually think Shelton used wrestling here, man, and get a split decision win. And also he's been training, I think, in Denver maybe for the past couple of weeks. I'm not really sure. But I just think Shelton has more ways to win. I think he's going to get to the mat. So, yeah, I got Eric Shelton with a split decision. What about you?
Yeah, you made a lot of good points. I didn't look into this fight a whole lot, but Joseph Morales, when it comes to a 24-year-old kid, I'm somewhat impressed with the guy. Put together a 6-0 amateur record, and then 9-0 as a pro before his last fight where he had to take his first loss against Davison Figueiredo, who, shout out to Davison Figueiredo, might be a top 3 flyweight in the world right now. Dude's an absolute monster, so no shame in taking a first loss there against him. Eric Shelton, on the other hand, man, I was really super fucking high on Eric Shelton after the tough season he was on. I kind of figured he would lose that fight to Pantoja. I thought he was going to beat Jared Brooks. He lost that fight. It was a split. Could have gone either way, probably. I knew he was going to beat Lauja. I actually went big on him against Lauja there. And then the last fight against Alex Perez, I was actually at. I bet Eric Shelton there too, because I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking there, man. Because Eric Shelton, you're right. He has been underperforming. I see this match being really even. Really even. I like the jab that Eric Shelton has, and I've liked his jab for a long time, and I just thought I thought he would just put together a complete striking game, learn how to actually use it more often to his advantage, but I don't know. He just hasn't put it all together. I'm not sure what it is. I don't know if it's like a mental block, but he was like 24, 25 coming off tough. Now he's 27. I haven't really seen a whole lot of improvement, so I'm actually gonna go with the upset here with Joseph Morales. I think it's gonna be a really, really closely contested fight, like probably a split decision. I think we're gonna see some groundwork and some striking. And looking at Shelton's UFC record, when fights go to split decision, he's 0-2. So I'm gonna look for that trend to continue. I'm gonna go with Joseph Morales via a 29-28 split decision. So moving on to the next fight, man, we got the biggest favorite of the card, Davi Ramos minus 1,000 taking on John Gunther plus 650. And man, I think there's some value on Davi Ramos at minus 1,000. What about you?
Yeah, I don't think there's value in minus 1,000, but I mean the line is definitely.
Honestly, man, like there might be value at minus 1,000. Like if there's ever been a lock in MMA, this is it. Like the only mismatch I can think of that might be more of a mismatch than this is Chad Mendez versus Cody McKenzie back in the day. This is like that level mismatch. Davi has him beat absolutely everywhere here. Maybe Gunther's like a better pure wrestler, not like jiu-jitsu guy, but like wrestler. Maybe Gunther has more cardio. Maybe Gunther has more heart. I don't know. Maybe. But he's just so outgunned when it comes to the skills here. Like Davi, obviously he's a jiu-jitsu guy, but he's put together some really good striking. He's super explosive on the feet, so don't be shocked if the jiu-jitsu guy comes out and gets a first-round easy knockout here over Gunther. But I don't know about that. Gunther's a tough guy, so I think it's probably going to take a sub. I'm going to say Davi gets the better of the striking exchanges early. He won't knock out Gunther. He'll hurt him. He'll get him down to the ground, and he'll tap him. So I'll say late first-round submission for Davi Ramos, and I have him in a 5-unit parlay with somebody later in the card. So definitely big on Davi. And I got him a way better price. I got him at the opener. He was minus 445. It's gone a lot more up since then. So yeah, Davi Ramos all the way.
Yeah, I got Ramos too. I do think he's going to get a finish. Well, I got to talk about Gunther for a little bit. I like Gunther, man. He's a funny guy. If you watch his interview, like the guy is just one of the funniest guys in the UFC. I like the guy a lot. I hope they keep him. I think they'll keep him after he loses this fight. But yeah, man, you said everything. Gunther's a very tough guy, very good chin. It's so hard to knock him out. We'll talk about that next fight, by the way. But great chin, good cardio. I believe Davi Ramos went to Colorado the last 2 weeks, so get used to that. But I mean, the only way I think Gunther wins is if he survives and, kind of finishes him late or wins a decision, because Ramos does kind of gas on fights. But I just really think that on the feet, Gunther's not a good striker, man. I mean, he throws a lot of weird stuff, but he's not a good striker. His game is taking you down. He has good wrestling, and he's really good on top too. I mean, he kind of grinds you out, but I just think Ramos is better wherever the fight goes. I do think obviously Gunther's tough. I think Gunther has probably the better cardio, but I don't think Ramos is going to knock him out. I think Ramos is going to tap him out, either in the first round. But in my opinion, if he doesn't get him out in the first round, like let's say Gunther weathers the storm, it could get interesting. But I still got Ramos, and I got him getting a submission. But I'm just saying hypothetically, if it gets out of the first round. But yeah, Ramos is definitely going to be everyone's most confident pick. So next fight, we got Devontae Smith versus Julian Erosa, and this is a very good fight, man. I got 4 units on Devontae Smith at minus 145. I bet him last fight versus Lowry where he was a huge dog. I got him I think a plus 285 for 4 units, and everybody was writing him off, man. I mean, everyone writes him off because of the Gunther fight. And we'll talk about that in a couple of minutes. But, I mean, Lowry's a pretty good prospect. The guy was 8-0, man. And he had a good fight with Zach Pearce. Zach Pearce, another good prospect. And Lowry has good wrestling, man. And on the feet, Devontae Smith was slowly picking him apart. He showed a very good jab. Usually, if you watch Devontae Smith, like, in his fights before that fight, especially in the Gunther fight, he pushed everything in every shot. Like, he kind of, like, just gassed out against Gunther. And in this fight with Lowry, man, he was, like, picking him apart at range. Very good jab. Lowry went for a takedown and got, knocked out with those elbows. And about Devontae Smith, so he was supposed to be fighting, man, for a while. Like, he heard about this fight since, like, July. And he was actually supposed to fight Benny, but Benny ducked him, which is kind of crazy. Now he's fighting Moises. And Rosa just took this fight on 2 weeks' notice. He's on featherweight, by the way, too. So, I mean, he's been knocked out 3 times. I think he's a chinny guy. And the fact that he's going up to 155 against a heavy hitter like Devontae Smith, I think it's a bad matchup for Rosa. He's not a grappler. He's a striker. He likes to brawl. And that's a terrible thing to do against Devontae Smith. So to clear everything up with the Gunther fight, yeah, man. I mean, you look at Gunther's face in that fight, by the way. He smoked him. I'm sorry, he didn't smoke him, but he really hurt him bad. And Devontae Smith just gassed out, man. I mean, he put everything in every shot. He got tired. And it's really hard to knock out a guy like Gunther. He's never been knocked out, and Gunther beat him, man. Congrats to the Gunther. But that's been 2 years, man. And Devontae Smith's improved every fight. And also one big thing I want to talk about in this fight. Sorry for all the ranting, but obviously it's a play I have, so I got to talk about him for a while. Is he moved to Factory X, and that was actually, I think his first training camp Factory X was versus Lowry last fight. So obviously his cardio is going to be improved. But I mean, if you watch the fight at Lowry, he was so technical in that fight. He wasn't rushing the knockout, and that's what he did against Gunther. I think his cardio is improved, and if he gets out of the first round, I think everyone's writing him off. But I think he's not going to win a decision, but I think he could knock Erosa out in the second round, knock him out in the third round. But I think what's going to happen, he's going to knock out Erosa in the first round. The guy's been knocked out against Cerudo, a bantamweight. He's been knocked out against Artem. He's been knocked out against Bobby McIntyre, a guy that's 6-6. I just think Devontae Smith has a huge speed advantage here. He's a very athletic guy, heavy hands, big guy for the division, and I'm high in the guy, man. I do think he's gonna, win some good fights in the future, man. So I got Devontae Smith by a first round knockout here, and he's also a good pressure fighter too. And I just think it's a bad matchup for Rosa. I don't think Rosa's a jobber by any means, but he's a featherweight. I mean, the guy even said on Jake Lynch's interview that, I mean, he walks around like a 160, 165. So I just don't think it's smooth for Julian Erosa to take this fight up a weight class against a really heavy hitter like Devontae Smith. So I got Devontae Smith by a first round knockout. What about you?
Yeah, man. So you nailed that fight, by the way, and you definitely did a lot more research than I did on it. But one thing I'm definitely looking at when I look at these fights these days is which fighter has the higher ceiling. Because I believe long term, if you're betting the fighter with a higher ceiling, I think that's going to pay off for you. And I wholeheartedly believe that Devontae Smith has a way higher ceiling than Julian Erosa for a number of reasons. So Devontae, yeah, you nailed it all with that Gunther fight. I don't think that's something you can hold too hard against him for all the reasons you named. Like it was first L time, stylistically, it was
He
a
was
tough
22
one.
years old. He's
Yeah,
22 years old. It was 5 fights ago, and he wasn't even training at like a legit camp. He's training at some jobber gym in Cleveland, like some small place. Now he's a Factory X. Like his cardio is going to be improved.
100%. And you could tell just from watching his recent fights, he has made improvements. It's just, is he really UFC level ready yet? I'm not 100% sure, but I definitely like this matchup for him, man. Julian Erosa, he does have chin problems. He has fight IQ problems. I don't know. I'm not going to talk about it too much. You nailed it. So I'm going to go with Devontae Smith. I think he'll catch that chin, man, and I think you're looking at an easy money bet there. So I'm going to say first round
Hopefully,
knockout
no.
for Devontae Smith, first round. I
One thing
don't
I
think
want to
too
add.
highly of Rosa. Go ahead.
One thing I want to add real quick is that Rosa keeps his hands low, man. Like every fight he does it, and he gets hit a lot too. I mean, besides the 3 knockout losses, the guy gets dropped a lot of fights. And one thing is, he has pretty weird movement, but I mean, I don't think having his hands low is going to work out against Devontae Smith because Devontae Smith's going to close the distance, get in his face, and throw that jab out there, and I think going to knock him out early. But yeah, we'll see. Erosa needs to go to 145 next. Maybe Erosa should fight Jason Knight next. That'll be a pretty good fight. But yeah, man,
Do
call the next one. Go ahead.
one thing real quick. What is the doesn't go the distance on that fight? Minus two
I
sixty.
don't
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
know.
My I was about to say I haven't really thought about it, but doesn't go the distance is like that's probably really good there because if a Rosa wins, I'd say it's probably like a fluke KO or a fluke sub, honestly. And I
If
think Devontae definitely gets a knockout. That's actually a really good prop. Doesn't go the distance there.
if Erosa wins, I think it's going to be late. Like I think it'll be like in the third round, kind of like worked
Yeah,
out for you.
like a late finish. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think Erosa's
I
going to
don't,
catch him early though.
yeah, we'll see. But I like that prop there. So yeah, next fight, man, Beneil Dariush, minus 145 taking on Thiago Moises, or plus 125. A lot of money has come in on Thiago. Um, this is a good fight, man. Thiago, he's still what? He's only 23 years old.
Yeah.
He's mostly a grappler. He's a pretty damn good grappler, honestly. I watched his striking improve every fight, and really, man, I wanted to go into this fading Beneil Dariush at like a decent plus money number. Like I was really thinking about it when it was plus 150, but honestly, it's kind of like a bad stylistic matchup for Moises. Like even though Benny hasn't been looking the best these days, like he's gassing early, he's getting caught, his chin is deteriorating. Like things are not looking good if you're in the Beneil Dariush fan club. Let's just put it that way. But fact of the matter is, most likely, I think both guys having the grappling background, I don't really see either guy being able to impose their will and take the other down. I think it's probably going to cancel out, and we're probably going to see a striking match. It's just a matter of how if Beneil's chin is like really bad as bad as some people think it is. Don't be surprised if the 23-year-old jiu-jitsu guy comes out here and knocks him out. I wouldn't be that surprised. But Beneil Dariush, one thing about him is he has very underrated striking. Like I went really big on Beneil Dariush versus James Vick. That's actually my first max bet ever. Like I called that to a T. I thought he would knock out Vick, and he did. Beneil is a really good striker. He was out striking Edson Barboza before Edson caught him. Obviously, he was smoking Dunham until he gassed. And the problem is that there's another thing. Maybe if Moises doesn't catch him with a knockout early, what if Dariush gasses too? So there's a couple of paths to victory for Thiago, in my opinion, but probably they end up striking for 3 rounds, and I'd say probably Beneil outstrikes him for 3 rounds. I'll say Beneil Dariush 30-27 decision, but I don't think you can trust him, especially as a favorite these days.
Yeah, this is a very interesting fight, man. So I've been, go back and forth. I think Moises is live, but I'm gonna have to go with Benny here, man. I think he's more well-rounded. It's all about if his chin is done, like you said. Like he does have a bad chin, but is he done? I mean, kind of like what you said the other day. He owns his own gym now, so I mean, where's his head at?
Yeah.
But he's just so technical in the feet, man. And I don't think Moises, doesn't bring the same game plan that Alex Hernandez and Nijim did. I mean, when they knocked him out, they just rushed at him. And Barbosa was losing that fight, then got that knee. Moises, I think, Moises is not the better striker. He did look good on the Contender Series, but that was against a jobber. And he does have decent striking, but I just don't think it's better than Denny's. I don't think he can tap him out. I think Chiesa is obviously a better grappler. I don't think, like you mentioned, I don't think it's gonna hit the mat. I think it's just gonna strike on the feet, and it's all about Benny's chin's done, and that's why I'm passing. I'm not gonna be playing it, but I think Benny could definitely win a decision. I think Benny could maybe finish him late. Obviously, Moises has never been, finished. Yeah, man, Benny, was beat Rashid, man, at freaking altitude, man, and then that was before the whole, disaster. I mean, Barbosa knocked him out when he was losing the fight. Benny was winning. The Dunham fight, he gassed out bad, and he took a lot of damage in that fight. And Hernandez just smoked him. So I don't know where his head at. He does have bad cardio. He gasses a lot. But I think Benny's more technical, and I think Benny's going to win either a decision or a late finish. But Moises is live for sure. Everyone that got is betting Moises, he's live. So next fight, we have my second play of the night. We got Bobby the Wolfman Moffett versus Chaz the Tommy John surgery Skelly. So yeah, man, I got Moffett 3 units at a plus 115, and I think he's the better fighter here, man. Skelly hasn't fought in a long time. He's coming off, like I just mentioned, Tommy John surgery, and I'm impressed with Moffett. I think Moffitt's a better version than Chaz Skelly. I think Moffett is a very good grappler. He doesn't waste time on the feet. I mean, he showed a little striking in his Contender Series fight against a guy that's not that good. Good right hand, good jab, but he's pressure fighter. He's aggressive, but he knows what he's gonna do. He goes forward, he takes you down, and he has very good wrestling, man. Good grappling, very good control. He's a grinder, and a lot of his wins are by sub. He has a nasty Dars choke, a nasty head and arm choke, and yeah, Skelly has good subs too. But Skelly gasses. I think Moffitt's gonna break him. I think Moffitt's gonna grind him out. And yes, I know Elkins is a good fighter. I know Elkins. Moffitt's not at Elkins right now, but Jason Knight did it as well. Jason Knight, took him down twice and then knocked him out in the 3rd round. Where's Skelly's chin at? He's a little chinny in my opinion. Moffitt's been knocked out once, but as against Ton, we use a good striker, definitely a better striker than Chaz Skelly. And I thought it was a bad stoppage. Maybe Ton Lee still would have won that fight, but Bobby Moffett's so durable, man. He's very good chin, and he doesn't give up. Chaz Skelly doesn't give up either, but he gasses, man. And Jason Knight knocked him out in the 3rd round, and look at where Jason Knight's at now. Obviously, Moffitt's not going to knock him out. I think it's close on the feet. I think Moffett might be the better striker, but I just don't think they're going to be striking him. I think Moffitt's going to go out there and take him down, grind him out. There'll be some nice exchanges on the ground. Skelly does have good submissions too. But I think after the 1st round, man, he's going to gas, and Moffitt's going to get him out of there. I know Skelly's never been tapped out, but I think Moffitt's going to give him his 1st submission loss. So I got the Wolfman by a 2nd round Dars. And I like this kid. He trains at MMA Lab. He's a big 145er. And he seems really confident, man. I do like the guy a lot. And no disrespect to Skelly, man. He's 6-3, but who is he beating? Like honestly, he's beating a lot of jobbers. Grits, he's a lightweight, and Grits is kind of a jobber too. Kevin Souza, I don't think he's that good. I just don't think a lot of the guys. I think all the guys that he's beaten, Moffett is definitely better than all of them. So yeah, Moffett, Moffitt's had some pretty good wins too. He beat Jennerman. That was a pretty good fight. But I just think the sky's the limit on Moffett, man. I just think he's going to take him down, gas him out. So, yeah, I got Moffett. What about you?
Let's be honest here, man. Chaz Skelly knocked out Mirsad Bektic.
I don't know about
that. that was a crazy fight. But honestly, man, my opinion, I think this fight, other than the I'd say this fight and the Morales Shelton fight, I think are the two hardest fights on the card for me to pick. Honestly, like I really think this fight's a coin flip. I think if the Chaz Skelly that fought Gritzmacher shows up here, I think he should probably win this fight. I really do think he's the better striker. I think he's the better grappler. Is he a better wrestler? I don't know about that. I think Moffett might be a little bit better wrestler. But what really, really bothers me about Moffett, man, is that Ton Lee loss. Like, I know Ton Lee, he is a very good striker, and he does have pop behind his punches, but the guy really has no takedown defense or get up game. And Moffett looked lost in there against Ton Lee, man. And you can't really say that was that long ago because that was only like a couple fights ago. But obviously, it is a completely different matchup here, and you can't really look into that that whole much. But I don't know, something about that bothers me. I don't think highly of Bobby Moffett now. If Chaz Skelly is not the same guy he was against Gritzmacher, and Justin mentioned that Tommy John surgery, that is no joke whatsoever. So if we see a slightly decreased version of Chaz Skelly here, I don't think I'd be that surprised if Moffett outstruck him or took him down. I'd be a little surprised if he submitted him, but I don't know, man. This is a tough call. I feel like there's definitely a lot of question marks behind Skelly, and then Moffett is a guy who, personally, I can't really trust that much. I don't think too highly of him. But I do think it's a coin flip fight. Therefore, I do kind of like your line at plus 115. But gun to my head, I'm going to go with Chaz Skelly. But it's a very, very close fight. I'll say Chaz Skelly gets it done by I'll say Chaz Skelly gets a Darce choke. I'll go opposite of you. So second round Darce choke for Chaz Skelly there. Anything you want to add?
I think I already talked about it, but I think Moffett has a better cardio, man, for sure. Skelly gasses, man.
Well, yeah, definitely coming off a layoff for Skelly, you'd have to think that Moffett would be fresher if it hit the later rounds.
I honestly I don't think he's at Elkins right now, but I think he's gonna do the same thing that Elkins did to Skelly. But we'll see what happens, man.
So next fight, we got Ashley Yoder minus 150 taking on Amanda Bobby Cooper plus 130. I think Ashley Yoder is probably a rightful favorite here. I know you're shaking your head. You probably don't want to talk about this fight too much. And yeah, man, I don't really want to talk about this fight too much either. I mean, are either of these girls top 25 or top 30 talent? I don't think so, man. I mean, even looking at this fight, I just, oh man, I don't really care about this fight, honestly. But I feel like it definitely screams an Ashley Yoder victory. Mm-hmm. I feel like she's probably got Amanda Bobby Cooper beat everywhere, honestly. So I don't want to talk about it, but I'll go with Yoder. I think she's tougher. I think she's a lot tougher, and she'll do a lot more. She'll work a lot more. She'll outwork Amanda Cooper and probably into a late submission. So I'll say Ashley Yoder, third round, rear naked choke.
Yeah, I'll keep it short. I didn't look into it that much, but I do have Yoder. Amanda Cooper has like 4 losses by sub. I don't think Yoder's that bad. I mean, I think she got robbed versus Quiche, Justin Quiche. And last fight against Dern, it was a close fight. I think she dropped Dern too, which is kind of crazy. But I mean, Yoder's not really a striker, man. She goes for the grappling. That's a terrible matchup for Cooper. But Cooper has good striking. If Cooper doesn't get taken down, Cooper's gonna light her up on the feet. But Cooper's a head case, man. Terrible fight IQ. She got dropped by Mackenzie Dern. That was crazy. I mean, Dern did show up miss weight, but I mean, still got dropped. But I got Yoder. I think she's getting a sub. If I had another play, I would be playing Yoder, but I'm not confident at all. So it's another pass. So I got Yoder by a sub. So next fight, we're gonna have an interesting debate here. We got Mike Trizano, another Wolf guy, versus the Lone Wolf versus Luis Pena, and I have 2 units on the dog here. Trizano plus 315. I think the line's off for sure. They could be close to a pick 'em, and Bob Ross is a good prospect, man. I do think that he has a lot of good tools. He fights really long. He's a good shin, good striking, good jab, great jiu-jitsu. But he's kind of green, man. I mean, you can say the same thing about Trizano, but Trizano's fought in Bellator, some other big organizations outside the UFC, and he won the show. I think, this is the rightful fight, man, for the contender for the show. I mean, these are the guys that should be fighting in the finale. This is when the fight's going to happen right now. And I like Trizano, man. He's very technical out there. Good jab, good striking. You could say he doesn't have like that finishing, instinct, but I mean, I think he's technical, man. And I think he has a better striking here too. I think he's more technical. I think Pena has more power, but I think Trizano has good wrestling, man. I think he needs to use it here, man. I think he can take down Pena. I don't see Pena tapping him out, and Trizano's undefeated, man, for a reason. So yeah, man, I like Mike Trizano here. I do think Pena is a good prospect, but I just think I don't know, man. There's something about him. I know he's been knocked out and subbed in amateurs, but he does get hit a lot too. He has good chin. You know, Martinez hit him with a lot of big shots. Martinez is a 45 I think. That guy is super small. Um, I believe they were really good friends too, but I mean, whatever. Doesn't mean anything. Pena still beat him, won both rounds. I do think Trizano has a better cardio here too. Pena's a finisher, man. He finishes most fights in the first round, and this fight gets late. I mean, most of Trizano's wins are by decision, anyways. I think it get interesting, man. Trizano has a good chin too. You know, Thailand Clark dropped him, and Trizano bounced right back up, and that's what Trizano's known for. Like, if you talk to anyone in this camp, it's great cardio, man. That's just probably one of his best tools. Trains at Tiger Showman. I know you're not a big fan of them, but I just think Trizano's been training with a lot of good guys. His last 2 weeks, he's actually been training at Factory X. So that's only going to help his cardio. And I think he's going to get a decision here, man. I got Trizano winning a close fight. I'm saying it's a close fight. I don't think Trizano's going to go out there and steamroll him. But I got the dog here, man. So yeah, 2 units, 315. What about you?
Yeah, man. So I could not disagree more. And I think when it comes to what you said about Pena being green, I don't think either guy is green, honestly, but I definitely think that they're both in the same exact stage in their career. I feel like they have about the same amount of experience. And, you know, bringing up the fact that Trizano has fought in Bellator before. I mean, I don't think saying that you fought in Bellator is exactly a big deal, considering that they put 2 and 5 jobbers on their undercard all the time. I mean, that guy that Trussano beat in Bellator, he's 4 and 3. Honestly, like really looking through like the guys that they fought on the regional scene, even in the Ultimate Fighter, man, like I feel like Pena really actually has beaten better guys than Mike Trizano. And going back to what you said about Tiger Schulman, yeah, I mean, I cashed big on Lyman Good just because that was like a really good matchup for him. But I do think those Tiger Schulman guys, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but something about it offensively, they're fucking savages offensively, but something about it defensively, they all like to leave their chin out and they all get hit. Like Shane Burgos, he loves leaving his chin out. He loves getting hit. Jimmy Rivera, I mean, Jimmy Rivera is one of the most talented dudes in the world, and offensively he's amazing. Jimmy Rivera gets hit a lot. These Tiger guys, I don't know what it is, man. Offensively, they're great. Defensively, they have a lot of holes. Trizano, he's only 26. Pena, he's 25. They're about, I don't know. I feel like they're definitely in the same spot in their careers. Pena's got a huge reach advantage here, man. He didn't bring up the fact that he's got a 8.5-inch reach advantage. I think that's really a big deal for him on the feet. I think striking, maybe offensively, Trizano has more pop behind his punches. Pena gets a lot of flack for kind of being a skinny guy. He doesn't have a lot of pop behind his punches. It's kind of more like a volume thing. Ends up being a kind of like a later TKO. He's not like a one-shot guy. So if anything, Trizano has more like pop behind his punches, but I think Pena has really got him outgunned, man. I think that reach advantage is going to come in play. He knows how to use it. Some guys don't know how to use it. That dude knows how to use it, and I've seen him saying stuff about him wanting to drop to 45, and some people saying that he should drop to 145. I don't think so at all, man. I mean, those same people are saying he's skinny. So what? You want the guy to get even skinnier? No, he should put on muscle mass. He should stay at 155. I think it's the weight class for him. And back to high ceilings, what I was talking about earlier. Luis Pena, 100%, in my opinion, has a higher ceiling than Mike Trizano. I think when it comes to the grappling, he's got some really nasty submissions on his record, man. And not only that, back to the better wins. This German dude that Bob Ross beat, Kobe Wall. This German dude, Kobe Wall, has what did he go as an amateur? He went like 12-0 as an amateur, 4-0 as a pro. Pena beat this dude. He's like 16-0. I feel like he has the better wins. He's got him outgunned on the feet. On the mat, maybe Trizano could wrestle him, but Pena, he has really long limbs. He's tricky on the ground, man. I honestly think the world of Luis Pena, Violent Bob Ross. I think he's a blue chip prospect. I think this is another softball for him, man. I don't think it's quite a softball like Richie Smolin, but it's a tough stylistic matchup. I don't see it going well for Trizano. I think where Trizano will shine most is when he fights a good wrestler. I think he'll show off his good takedown defense, because I do think Trizano, I like the way he fights against wrestlers. So I think when Trizano goes in there and fights a good wrestler, he might be able to stuff the takedowns there and outstrike that guy. But stylistically here, man, this is just awful for him. I do not see him. Like the fact that a Tiger Schulman guy who has holes in his defense is fighting a guy that has an 8-inch reach advantage on him, the sniper, Luis Pena, the dude's a savage, and I think he knocks out Trizano early here. I'm going to go with Luis Pena, first round KO. Anything you want to say to that?
No, man, we'll see what happens on Saturday. I don't think he's going to knock him out in the first round. I think if Pena wins, it's going to be a decision. I think the fight's going to go all 3 rounds.
Oh man, I think he exposes those holes in the striking D, but we'll see. We'll see. It's a good fight. Some money came out on Trizano. You got a good line.
I think Trizano's striking D is a lot better than Burgos and Arce and all that. I mean, when have you really seen Trizano get hit clean? I mean, they got dropped.
When have you seen him face a good striker though?
Bob Ross is a good striker, man, but I just think, I mean, he is a good striker, man, for sure. But I just think it's a big step up, man. I mean, he just fought freaking Richie Smolin, man. So that guy's a can, bro.
And Trizano just fought Giannetti, who isn't even in the UFC anymore. They both just fought cans, except Trizano went to split with his can. Pena knocked out his can.
That wasn't a split. I think that was unanimous, but Trizano just didn't
go. It was a split.
I don't think it should have been a split. I don't think Trizano should have. I don't know. Trizano didn't really go after it, but he still comfortably won 2 rounds, in my opinion. And yeah, man, Pena's a good striker, but I don't think he's gonna be a good striker off his back. So he has good jiu-jitsu, man. But I think Trussano has good wrestling, man. Really underrated too. And I still think Trussano is more technical in the feet. Like I think it's gonna be a close striking contest. I don't see Ross like knocking him out clean.
I would much rather have money invested in a fighter trading at AKA than Tiger Schulman's.
Oh my god! Hey, come on, man. They're both good camps. You can't say something like that.
Yeah, they are good camps, but I just feel like I don't know. This is like a really tough stylistic like this is a really like looking back on it, it was a tough stylistic matchup for Arce against Shaman because those guys defensively they do have holes, and Shaman was a really good striker to exploit it. Bob Ross isn't as far into his career as Shaman is, so I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But
Bob Ross does get hit a lot, though. Like, he has a good chin, and I know he's been knocked out in the past in the amateurs, but Martinez caught him with a lot of shots, man. But Martinez is, I don't think, even close to the level Trizano is.
Yeah, we'll see. It's a good fight, man.
We'll see what happens, man. Call it the next one.
I don't have it pulled up. You want to do it?
I'll do it, yeah. So I'm actually really interested in this fight. We got Macy Barber versus Hannah Cifers, and I like this fight. I actually went into this fight pre-tape going with Cifers, man, and after tape, I kind of like Cifers. I obviously shout out to MMA Prediction Guru because he has a big bet on Barber, but Cifers hasn't really fought anybody at all. A lot of her opponents have been cans, but I mean Macy Barber hasn't really fought anyone either. I think Barber's fought in the better competition, but it's close. Cifers rips the body, man, really nice, man. I like her striking, man. She's aggressive out there. I like her style, man. A lot of people are like talking crap on her because she doesn't talk. Like she's really shy. I don't know if you watched any of her fights, but there were a couple fights like after she won, like she was so shy to talk. Like when Kamaru Usman was like interviewing her, she wouldn't even say anything. Like I've seen like on Instagram, she's just really shy. She doesn't talk that much. She's a farm girl. Her full-time job is at the farm. So I mean, she doesn't train like 2 or 3 times like a lot of people. She trains probably once a day. She's 26 years old, and she has good jiu-jitsu, man. She's a good striker. I think Macy Barber, like you said, has more potential, man. But it's all about the matchup, dude. Macy Barber is training at Factory X, UFC debut, a good contender series. She does get hit a lot, but I mean, she's a tough girl, and damn, dude, she's a black belt, I think, in like karate, dude. She has good striking, good pressure. She's heavy on top. She's a good ground game. I don't think she's gonna be able to take down Cifers. Cifers does very good takedown defense. And on the feet, I think it's gonna be a war. I actually think this might be one of the better girl fights that we've seen in a while. And I got Barber, winning decision, but I think Cifers is live, man. I actually really wanted the best Cifers, but Guru talked me out of it. So Cifers wins. Yeah, Guru, I'm gonna be screaming at you for sure. But to be honest, I think Barber's a better fighter. I think she's the better striker. But telling you right now, like I said, dude, Cifers, man, has a good combination. She's nasty in the body, nasty. But yeah, I got Barber, man, winning a close decision. What about you? Oh wait, one
So
more
you
thing.
want to
Sorry,
go ahead?
one more thing. Cifers is a very small girl, by the way, too. I think she took a fight at like 110 or something like that a couple fights ago. So I do think Barber's the bigger girl. Go ahead.
Quickly, one thing, some huge money just came in on your boy Mike Trizano. Uh, on Bet Online, Pena is minus 175 now.
What?
175 Pena plus 150 Trizano. Somebody laid some huge money on Trizano there. But onto this fight, man. Yeah, you made a lot of good points about Barber and Cifers here. I think really what the biggest key factors for Macy Barber is she's got a big size advantage, like you mentioned. Cifers, she's full time on the farm. I think that favors Barber. I feel like she's probably had the better camp leading up to this fight. It's short notice for Cifers as well. There's just a lot going against Cifers, but Barber's a lot bigger. She's the better wrestler. She's the better grappler. I like what you mentioned about Cifers. She does rip to the body pretty hard. She's got some pop behind her punches for a little girl, man. But I don't think that's going to mean much here. I think Macy Barber's got her beat. I'll say 30-27 decision.
Yeah, man. We got 3 more fights. Let's do this. You want me to call it?
Mike
I don't
Perry?
mind. I don't mind calling this. So we got Raquel Pennington versus. You can call the next one because it's your play. We got Raquel Pennington versus Jermaine Randamie GDR. I didn't look that much in this fight. I think it's a close fight. I think GDR is the better striker. She doesn't fight, man. Like she hasn't fought in a long time. She's not active at all. She looked good in her last fight. I don't like GDR at all. The guy, she's ducking Cyborg. She drops the belt. I mean, she has the belt and she goes to 135. I know Rocky quit last fight against Amanda, but Amanda's the champ, dude. I mean, Amanda's a really good fighter. And Rocky, I know she did 9-6 record, but dude, she has some good wins. I think Rocky could definitely maybe even get GDR down, get a sub. But on the feet, I think she's a tough girl. She eats a lot of shots, great chin, but I think GDR has a beat in the feet. GDR has very good striking. Raquel Pennington has to get, inside and, work her in the clinch, take her down. It's a close fight. It's another fight been going back and forth. Damn, dude. I gotta go with GDR, man. I know she's. I don't want to be picking her at all. I actually like Raquel Pennington, but I gotta go GDR. I think she's gonna hurt her on the feet, and I don't think she's gonna finish her, but I think she's gonna be doing it for all 3 rounds. So more tactical on the feet, better striking. But yeah, Pennington's tough for sure. But she doesn't get her to the mat. I think she's gonna be in a win for her. So I got GDR. What about you?
Yeah, I agree, man. I think this has Jermaine Randamie 30-27 decision written all over it, most likely, which also pains me to say because I am not a fan of GDR. I mean, as a striker, I am. Like, when it comes to women's MMA, she might have some of the best kickboxing technique, like, in the sport, honestly. Like, I do appreciate that, but I don't know. It's the other things, like running away from title fights when you're the champion, just little things like that, disappearing, only fighting 4 times in a 6-year span. Little things that make you not want to be a fan of GDR, but man, you got to think this is it's like a really good stylistic matchup for her here, man. Because in the Holly Holm fight, I know Holly's not like a great wrestler by any means, but she did show improved takedown defense technique, and I think against a girl in Raquel Pennington, Raquel Pennington is a striker too. Raquel Pennington is she's a gritty boxer, is what I would consider her, and you're right. She's got to get into the clinch. She's got to push GDR up against the cage, make it ugly, land some dirty boxing. And I don't know. I don't see it, man. I think when she does try to do that, GDR is going to make her pay for it in the clinch with some knees to the body. It's a tough fight for Raquel. I think really she's got to dig super fucking deep and pull out like a 3rd round submission here. That's how I see it. And I could see it happening. I think the line's just about right. I'm actually surprised that GDR isn't a bigger favorite. I kind of thought that people like sharp money bettors would be all over her, and maybe we'll see. We still got a couple days left. I think if anything, money will probably come in on GDR. So if you want to take that shot on Raquel, not many times where I feel confident in the line movement, but that one I feel confident in the line movement. I think money will come in on GDR. So if you're going to take the shot on Raquel, I'd say wait, but I don't know. I think she'll probably outstrike Raquel for 3 rounds, avoid any kind of grappling whatsoever because she does have holes there. We haven't seen her on the mat in a long time, but I guarantee those holes are probably still there, but it's going to take a tough chick to get it there because Germaine, she's huge for 135 for sure. So I don't know. There's a couple bad matchups out there for her, but this isn't one of them. So yeah, GDR 30-27 decision. So moving on to the co-main event of the evening, guys. We got Mike Platinum Perry minus 210 taking on Donald Cowboy Cerrone plus 175. Man, Mike Perry. So I have some bad memories with Mike Perry. I lost big on him against Max Griffin. That was one of my biggest bets of the year, and he kind of dropped the ball there. I mean, Max Griffin's a really tough, good boxer in his prime for sure, and that was a different time in Perry's life, man. Perry in his last fight against Paul Felder, his first fight at Jackson's, like honestly, like I don't know how somebody would be able to say that his last fight isn't his best performance. Like I know he didn't knock Paul Felder out, but he looked really good there, man, and I'm glad he got a decision win because that really proved that he's not just a knockout or bust guy. That proves that Mike Perry can go out there and win decisions, and he can win decisions against guys who are, I don't know if Felder's ranked right now, but I know he definitely has been ranked at one point. So I mean, Felder's a good fucking fighter, man. So to go out there and look that good against him, I know it says split, but I thought Perry clearly won that fight. Maybe even have won all 3 rounds, but definitely the best version of Perry we've ever seen. I think he'll look even better this fight. And then really the biggest key factor for me, man, is the fact that he is at Jackson's. Cowboy is no longer at Jackson's, and the guys that kind of ran Cowboys camps for the better part of his career, his coaches at Jackson's, they're going to be in Mike Perry's corner for this fight. So basically, they're trying to prep and teach this guy how to beat a fighter that they trained for all these years, and I think that's huge for Mike Perry, man. They're giving him hints on all of Donald Cerrone's tendencies, weaknesses, and honestly, I think that's a huge deal for him. And it's not only just that, Donald Cerrone, I mean, that chin is definitely deteriorating. I know he went all 5 with Leon for sure, but Mike Perry arguably is the hardest hitter in the division, and Perry cannot make this a war, man. Donald cannot make this a war, because if Donald makes this a war, his chin's not going to hold up against Mike Perry at all, in my opinion. Donald needs to dive for legs here. He really needs to dive for legs, get this down to the mat, try to out wrestle Perry or submit him. I feel like in a lot of Donald Cerrone's fights, I'm saying that, like, a lot of the time I'm saying he really needs to get that guy down and submit him. And I know he can do it because I saw Donald Cerrone. He took down like 3 welterweights in a row when he first started the division. Like, he took down Howboy, he took down Cote, and he took down Rick Story. Like, Donald Cerrone has good wrestling. He can do it, but and I think that's his path here. He needs to wrestle Mike Perry, because if he tries to strike with that dude, he's gonna get hit. He's not gonna be able to take it. So I don't know. And I think working at Jackson's, Perry has always really had good takedown defense. Nobody's really gone out there and smoked Perry with wrestling before. So I don't see what happening here for the first time. I'm gonna go with a fighter who has a lot more left in the tank. A guy who was not on the decline, a guy who was on the uphill climb. I think Perry's onto bigger and better things. He's in a lot better place than he was in Orlando back when he was still with that blonde girlfriend of his. I forget her name, but I feel like she was a huge distraction for him. I feel like he wasn't really getting anywhere. He kind of plateaued at the camp he trained at in Orlando, and yeah, this is Mike Perry's ready to go on a roll, and I feel like this is a good fight for him. So first round knockout over Donald Cerrone, and I have him in a 4.7 unit parlay. I had him with Daniel Cormier from the last card, so still trickling back from the last card. So yeah, I basically have Perry straight here at minus 155. So yeah, Perry all day.
Yeah, well, speaking of that blonde girlfriend, I actually saw her on Mike Perry's story, so she's there with them right now.
Oh,
So
Christ.
I don't know, I don't know how much it's gonna like play in the fight. I think they're back together. I have no idea, but I mean, all I know is I saw her. All I know is I saw her in the story. But I'm gonna have to disagree with your heaviest hitter. I don't think Perry's the heaviest hitter in the division. I think that has to go to Rozak, Alisan, or Ruke, in my opinion. Maybe even Woodley. But I mean, Perry could even knock out Jobin, man. Jobin has a terrible chin.
First
But
all time.
yeah. Anyways, though, I do think Perry's gonna win. You know, he looked really good last fight against Felder. Felder's a good fighter. Cerrone's just not the same guy he was in 2 years ago, man, in his prime. Cerrone's on a decline for sure. He's taking too much damage. You know, the one thing though is Cerrone has the better grappling, man. He has better jiu-jitsu. Cerrone can strike probably with Perry on the feet, you know, but I just think Perry's gonna knock him out, man. I think Perry's gonna, you know, get to that body probably pretty early in the fight. Perry doesn't throw that much volume, you know. I think, you know, Cowboy might be more technical, but Perry definitely has more power. I think Perry's going to be aggressive out there and going to try to knock his head off. But I mean, we heard that Cerrone, you know, was taking him down at will and practice and tapping him out, so that's a concern right there because Cerrone has a better ground game. But Perry has good takedown defense. He has good get-up game too, man. I mean, Perry's no slouch on the mat. So my official prediction is going to be Perry by a knockout. But I do think Cowboys live. I think he has a chance. But I got Perry, man. So next fight, the main event, we got Yair Rodriguez versus Korean Zombie. We both have a play in this fight. I have 3 units at plus 130. And I like the younger guy, man. You know, Zombies, he's older, man. He's still a good fighter, but he hasn't really fought, once in the last 5 years. And I know you're, you know, I guess more higher than him than I am on Dennis Bermudez. But I think Bermudez is the worst chin in the division, and Zombie wasn't looking that good in my opinion. And you know, he knocked him out. But yeah, knocking out the worst chin in the division. I mean, it's, you know, Rodriguez would have done the same thing. So I just think Rodriguez has more ways to win. I think he has the better cardio. Yeah, they've both been late in fights, but Rodriguez never gets tired, man. He has very good cardio. I know it's on short notice, but Rodriguez is always training, man. You know, very good cardio. Just turned 26. Great movement. I think it's really going to throw off Zombie. I think Zombie's going to have to get inside. He's going to get busted up with knees, kicks. I mean, Rodriguez throws some crazy stuff, man. And Zombie's not going to be able to take him down, I don't think. He does have good jiu-jitsu. He has good subs. I know he tapped out Poirier a long time ago. But Rodriguez is a good takedown defense. I know Edgar took him down, but he shouldn't have went for that guillotine in the first round. And Edgar's a way better grappler than Zombie is. I think Rodriguez actually has the better wrestling here. I think he could take him down, kind of grind him out. But I just think Rodriguez is going to strike him on the feet, and I think he's more technical. I think he has, you know, better kicks. I think Zombie has better hands, but he's going to have to get inside, and he's going to get lit up, in my opinion. So I got Rodriguez, man, by a late finish. I think he's gonna get a head kick finish, man, in the 3rd or 4th round. What about you?
Yeah, so this is one of the rare times I will pick a guy pre-tape, and then I watch tape, and I'll bet the other guy. I was picking Korean Zombie pre-tape. After tape, I am now betting on Yair Rodriguez. I have 2.3 units on him at plus 130. I got the same line as you. What is it, plus 115 now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so and I don't think it'll go back to plus 130. I think money will keep on coming in on Yair Rodriguez. Yeah, man, you said it all. And the big thing about Korean Zombie, this is a huge example why you got to put in the work. You got to do the tape study, man. You're like, yeah, Korean Zombie. He went out there. He came back. He knocked out Dennis Bermudez in the first round. He looked great his first fight back. Guys, Dennis Bermudez outstruck him. Dennis Bermudez landed more strikes than Korean Zombie, if you can believe that.
He's looking good, Dennis.
Yeah, right. He was. And Dennis doesn't typically outstrike guys. I guess you can account that to Korean Zombie having not fought in 3.5 years. I mean, props to him. He still got the first round knockout, but he's not fighting a chinny guy anymore. And yeah, Dennis Bermudez, he is chinny. I don't think he's the chinniest guy in the division. Like, he's only been knocked out twice.
He dropped every fight, man.
Still, there's guys that have been knocked out a lot more than him. And Bermudez went on like an 8-fight win streak at one point.
They need to fight. I know he did. And he did not beat Max Holloway as a robbery. They need to match him up with Jason Knight. Oh my God, Jason Knight versus Bermudez. Book it.
I got Bermudez all day there.
I got pass. I don't even know who I'm going to pick, but I got pass. I got Bermudez.
Back to this fight, man. Yeah, Yair is he's a lot bigger, and I know there's question marks on both sides for sure. I don't think it would be very fair to bring up the layoff for Yair Rodriguez because Korean Zombie he hasn't fought longer. He hasn't fought February 2017. Yair was May 2017. So Yair, even being off all this time, he's still the more active guy than Korean Zombie. He has a lot more left in their career. I think when I'm trying to play devil's advocate with myself, Korean Zombie's best course to victory here is to get it to the later rounds, use that veteran experience, try to get it to the mat because obviously watching the Frankie Edgar Yair Rodriguez fight, Yair is, I don't want to say hopeless on the mat, but definitely that's a part of the game he needs to work on. So if I'm Korean Zombie, I'm gonna try to make this a very scrappy fight. I know it's not very Korean Zombie esque, but I think it would be very smart of him to try to conserve his energy early in the rounds. Let Yair do all his crazy flying, spinning kicks and shit. Try to conserve some energy, be the fresher guy in the later rounds. But I don't know. I mean, to me, Yair Rodriguez, I like that he had that 5 round fight against Alex Caceres because after 5 rounds, he still looked fresh. He looked like he could have gone another 3. So Yair has really good cardio. So I don't think that there's ever going to be an issue in this fight of Yair being a lot more tired than Korean Zombie. But I don't know. I'm still trying to decide whether or not I think Yair's going to get the knockout, but I definitely like him to get the win here. So I'm going to give Korean Zombie the benefit of the doubt. He's going to have that very tough steel Korean chin. So I'm going to say Yair Rodriguez actually comes out here, blows out Korean Zombie in a 50-45 decision.
I
And
like it, man.
2.3 units.
I like it, man.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
So before we go, let's do our bets one more time. So I got Yair 3 units at plus 130 to win 3.9 units. I got Moffett at plus 115 to win 3.45. I got Devontae Smith at minus 145 to win 2.76 units, and I got the Lone Wolf Trizano 2 units at plus 315 to win 6.3.
Yeah, and I have a 5 unit max bet on Davi Ramos and Luis Violent Bob Ross Pena in a parlay at minus 149. I have 4.7 units on Mike Perry. Thanks to Cormier, I got him at minus 155. I have 3 units on Mark De La Rosa at minus 210, and I have 2.3 units on Yair Rodriguez at plus 130. It's going to be a good night, man.
I like it, man. Good card, and we'll be back on Kelton Show, the fight game, for the recap on Sunday. And yeah, man, it's fun doing 2 podcasts a week. I'm excited for next week too. You know, Argentina, Khalil, my favorite fighters, is fighting. I mean, it's a good card, man. I've only taped a couple fights so far. There's actually one that we're going to talk about off there that I taped, and pre-tape I liked a certain person. Then I was still liking the person, but then after more tape, I'm switching it. I think I might bet it too. But yeah, man. So we'll be back, man, next week, probably on Tuesday. I mean, go on Twitter and see. And later, guys. One more thing. Comment below what you guys think of every fight and who you guys got in every fight. So I'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, guys.